stand across the creek. He builds this mill, installs the best equipment that was available. The water turbine we were just talking about was top of the line, new invention, new type of power, replacing the water wheel because they were smaller, more compact, more powerful, and more efficient than water wheels. So he installs the turbine. 2 sets of millstones, very common in these types of mills. One was usually dedicated to livestock feed, the other one would have been dedicated for the flour. Now what's different that Bowen did is that animal livestock would have been a cheaper granite stone, and then the flour would have been the nice expensive French burr stone. So Bowen upgrades, we call it an upgrade, today's standards, upgrades to 2 French burr stones. Now what is a French burr stone? That's a funny name. As I said before, granite was a typical stone, and that's what most millers would have used as a granite stone. Granite was not able to produce white flour, which everybody wanted to get is white flour. They were not, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail just so you understand what's happening. I won't bore you with a lot of science, but granite stones were not able to cut the grain clean enough to be able to separate the different particles of the wheat, and therefore they ended up with whole wheat flour consistently. What these were able to do is be able to cut the wheat particles into nice clean cuts where they could be sifted and separated. So you'll see some tools. Now let me get back to what is a French burr stone. French. These stones come from France. The only place they were ever found was France. There are some comparable stones that are found in the United States, but these still are the premium stones because of their hardness. They belong to the flint family of stones. They're freshwater quartz. These are found in France. Burr means block or pieces. So again, you see a block out there. That would be a burr, a French burr. They weren't found perfectly squared. Obviously, the milling company would have shaped it to that size, but they're found in small blocks. Our wheels are made up of about 14 of these blocks to get the size that we wanted. And so because of their hardness, they were able to stay sharp and hard to be able to cut the flour or the wheat into particles that could be separated so they could sift the endosperm, which is the main portion of the wheat, from the bran flake and the germ, to be able to be separated. So these tools were used by a man, just like we have a blacksmith in his tools, a cooper in his tools, well, a wheel dresser had his tools also, and so when the stones would come, they would come blank, nothing on them. So all we're going to see is the top stone spinning around, the corn dropping in, and getting milled up. I have developed this here as the best way I can show it to show you what's happening because it's a mystery. These top stones weigh 1,800 pounds. That's a lot of weight. Bottom stone weighs around 900 pounds. So you could think that the grain is being crushed by that heavy weight. It's not being crushed, but you do need weight to push down on the grain. In fact, as the stones start to wear away, the grain can start to lift. And that's one of the ways they know it's time to replace these stones is you're not getting enough pressure. You know, in the cider mill, you had the hydraulic pressure pushing down. Here, you got to rely on weight. So, using these tools, if we lift our stone off, as he was apprenticing from where he came from, but ours is a sickle pattern. These furrows have 3 very important functions. Number 1 is distribution. If they weren't there, the grain would drop into the eye of the stone and really have no place to go, and the top stone would lift up, and because there's no place to travel, the grain to travel. So, distribution. Number 2, ventilation. A lot of heat gets generated, as you can imagine. 2 stones working against each other and the grain in there. So a lot of heat is generated. This helps ventilate the stones to keep them cool. And finally, each one we have to imagine it represents a sharp cutting edge. So remember, I said the grain is getting cut. So the bottom stone, this will represent our bottom stone, has this pattern. The top stone has the same pattern in reverse. We put them together. 2 things you'll notice. Notice the cutting action. See how that would happen? The grain is getting cut in there. And then also notice from the center outward how that would sweep the grain and move it through the stones and get that grain moved to the outside. So quite a bit is happening between the stones that you really don't stop to think about or understand what's happening. But again, what we're seeing is 2 stones, the top stone actually just spinning around. Now, let's go ahead and get the power going. As I mentioned about the turbine, it's not sitting directly below us. It's the original equipment. I'm opening up a valve. This is really kind of like opening up the water faucet at your home. only on a larger scale. As soon as enough water spills into the turbine, our shaft in front of us will start to rotate, and we'll have power. And that shaft goes from the bottom, from the turbine, all the way up to the upper floors, and we power various types of equipment from the grain elevator shafts to fanning mill and other types of equipment that are found at a grist mill. We're going to operate our grist stones. I have corn in the hopper, it's off the cob.
I can't see.
It takes a second for it to get up to speed right now. A lot of weight that it's starting to turn. Now these mills were custom mills. With this little wheel here, the stone can get raised up and down in very fine increments to produce whatever type of mill someone wants their grind for their flour. As I said today, we're going to just be producing cornmeal, or I should say ground cracked corn more like. This is going to be used for the animals. Something I find very fascinating is when the corn enters and exits, it only takes 2.5 revolutions for that to come out. It's very fast. In fact, we can produce 50 pounds in 10 minutes, 300 to 400 pounds an hour can easily be produced. And get back to the furrows again. Miller, by feeling the flour, can determine if those stones are starting to go dull. And so about every 300,000 pounds, these stones would have to be lifted off. You'll see a set of each wheel set up with a set of tongs and a screw jack to be able to lift these stones off so they can be serviced and repressed to sharp cutting edges. And it's, again, depending on the mill and depending on its location and how much production they had, that could happen every 3 to 4 weeks during the course of milling season.
So would they use the same wheel and then just chisel the pattern?
Yeah, exactly right. They just it'd be the same stones, and they'd last 100 years. That's why it seems like a lot of chipping away. It would go away fast, because it wear down faster. But these stones are supposed to last around 100 years, which these did. These are the original stones. So from 1864 to 1953 is when Bowens Mills finally shut down as a commercial mill. Modern mills were faster, and people just like we are today. We don't like the weight. We like to be convenient, and so that's what was happening. The modern mills were faster. But there's something still to be said about stone ground grains. That they say that there's a flavor that stones produce that just can't be duplicated on a steel roller. So Bowens Mills, like I said, stayed open until 1953. 1972, the state of Michigan declares this a historical site. And in 1978, Neil and Marion Cook purchased the property. It's run down, had need of a lot of repair, but they had this vision right here of what we're doing, of preparing it so people can see. And I can't remember, I told this group or the last group, but one of the things that I really like about Bowens Mills is instead of driving through a town and seeing where the foundation of a mill used to stand, or seeing their millstone on display at the park or museum, we're standing in an actual grist stone. We're seeing the original equipment, the original stone still operating. That's what's amazing. And yeah, you know, we're just doing cracked corn, we're not producing flour, but it gives us the idea, the understanding of how the milling industry worked. Bowen was well known for his gram flour and his buckwheat flour. And you know, a lot of times the local mill dictates what crops are being raised in the fields. But the farmers, you know, he had a market for the buckwheat. Not everybody likes buckwheat in a small community like this. Produce a lot of buckwheat flour. Then I need a lot of buckwheat, and so the farmers would produce the buckwheat. That's where the cash crop was. And the mill dictated it. I know where I live, soybeans. That's a big, what the mill, a lot of farmers produce soybeans. Well, we see that all around here. I talked about how white flour was so desirable and how these stones were needed to produce the white flour. But going back to talking about grain flour for a second, in the 1830s, Sylvester Graham already was seeing the health hazards of white flour and was determined to find a healthy way to produce something that was good and healthy for him. And so he produces graham flour, which a lot of mills, including Bowens, jumped on board and started producing graham flour. But he also, by adding honey, made the graham cracker to make that a fun way to eat and get healthy nutrition back into the diet. So just a little side note about graham crackers and graham flour.
Yeah, that's great.
Anybody have any questions about anything?